Hey everyone, it's Haley, and today I'm going to be talking about the books that I am hoping to read this February. It's really wild to me, and I know I say this every single month, but honestly, I can't believe that it's already February. Like, it feels like this year just started, but then it also feels like this year has been ages long, so it's a very interesting experience. But today's video I am filming as I did my most recent reads video, where I don't have any notes or anything. I just went to my shelves and was like, what am I thinking I'm gonna pick up this next month? And lo and behold, we have a giant stack of books here. I did have a lot of fun with filming that video, so that's kind of what I'm going to do going forward, is just kind of like go off the cuff and not really have any notes or anything. I've never had a script, but I always had like point form notes so I could make sure I hit all my points, but it makes me stressed out. It just feels so liberating to not have any notes and just go and like do whatever. I kind of regret it sometimes in editing, but it's fine. We're not going to worry about that right now. So February, we have two things going on. One, Valentine's Day at the beginning of the month, so I have a few romantic reads in here. And then it's also Black History Month, so I have a few books by Black authors here that I definitely want to try and prioritize, not just this month, but I do have a couple of more historical ones that I think would be great to get to this month specifically. So without further ado, let's just get into what I am hoping to read. So I'm going to start off with my two current reads, and I am embarrassed that I'm still reading this book. I think I've mentioned it like 3 times now for a current read, but that is Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. I think I've been reading this for like a month and a half, 2 months now. I don't know, well, I do know. This is taking me so long, not because I'm not liking it, because I really am liking it. I think it's super cool. I understand why people are hyping this up a lot. It's just, I've been listening to the audiobook, and I honestly haven't really wanted to listen to audiobooks a lot lately. I kind of go through phases where I love listening to audiobooks when I'm doing anything like doing my makeup or cooking, and then other phases where I just kind of want to watch YouTube videos and do really mindless things. So I've been in a YouTube phase, so I haven't really been reading while I'm doing other things, and this book has kind of suffered from that. So I have set myself the goal of finishing it actually by the day before this video comes out, so hopefully I will be able to do that, but honestly, I don't really know what's going to end up happening. I definitely will be finishing it this freaking month though, because like I need to finish it. It is ridiculous at this point, but it is super good. The other book that I'm currently reading is You Should See Me in a Crown by Leah Johnson. So this is all about a girl who is running for prom queen, and she's living in this very small conservative town, and like prom is like a huge thing. It really reminds me of Dumplin', but she is lesbian, so she is interested in girls, and she has started to develop feelings for the new girl, but there's like a rule. You can't take someone of the same sex to prom. Like, it seems like it's definitely going to be a little shakeup here, a much needed shakeup for this town, because some of the rules that they were going through in this book at the beginning with the prom committee, I was like, what? But I am really enjoying this so far. Super cute. Definitely the most like high school-esque read that I've read in quite a bit, but I'm not minding that. Like, I think it does bring me to high school, and it is really enjoyable. So I should also probably be able to finish this one by the time you see this video. I've been reading books like very quickly recently. It has been great. So I have been reading them in like 2 to 3 days usually, and especially for a contemporary, I should be able to finish this in a couple of days. So hopefully tomorrow, but if not, like, I'm not rushing myself. That's just how it's been going lately, but we shall see. Either way, definitely excited to finally be reading this one. It would be fun if I like had an order to this stack, but I don't. It's just sitting there intimidating me. I'm just gonna grab stuff. So the next couple of books that I have here are actually adult romances. I have 3 on here. The one is like a little further down, but I don't really know what adult romances I'm going to read. I've kind of been gravitating more toward fantasy. Who am I? I don't know, but I've been getting back into that and just haven't really been picking up romances so much, which is a nice change. I say that, I mean, I've picked up like 3 so far this year, but still, it's different. So the 2 that I have on here are Simmer Down by Sarah Smith, which I've talked about this before. It's like a food truck romance, so it sounds really adorable. I just love the idea of a food truck. It's in Maui, and they're making Filipino dishes in this food truck. Like, that sounds really great. So definitely interested in that. And then the other one is Crazy Stupid Bromance by Lyssa K. Adams. I'm not sure when the next installment in this series comes out, but definitely would like to read this one before that one comes out. So I've talked about this book quite a bit too. It is the next installment in the Bromance book club series, and they're just really cute romantic reads. This time we're following the owner of a cat cafe, and it's like a second chance romance sort of thing, I believe. I'm not really sure. I just know that the concept really appealed to me. I feel like it just makes sense for me to talk about the other adult romance that I have on here. So next is Get a Life, nope, Take a Hint, struggles. Take a Hint, Dani Brown by Talia Hibbert. So this is the next book in the Brown sisters trilogy. So we're following the next sister, Dani. And I read Chloe Brown last year and I liked it. I think just my expectations were a little bit too high, and it dealt with tropes that like I'm not the biggest fan of. It's just personal preference. It wasn't a bad book by any means. It was really good and I enjoyed it, but I think that this one appeals to me a little bit more. This one has a friends with benefits situation going on, and the other one was more enemies to lovers, and I don't really like that. And like my main problem with that one was they were just both such sweet characters that I just didn't see where the foundation for the enemies part was. But this one I think is going to be a lot of fun with this friends with benefits situation. I don't think I've ever read anything like that, so definitely eager to dive into this. Speaking of fantasy, I am maybe hoping to delve into The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab this month. So this is a book that I am sure you've heard of. It has been absolutely everywhere, and I actually want to do a reading vlog reading it, and just like reading the book that everyone keeps talking about is basically what I'm thinking, because everyone is talking about this book. Like I've seen it everywhere. I'm doing a video involving books that are on TikTok a lot, and even on TikTok like people are talking about this book nonstop. So I want to know why everyone's talking about it. Like I do know it's a very interesting concept, and V.E. Schwab is a very beloved author. I'm just like, this concept like blows my mind, and like are my expectations too high? Like I'm very nervous about this one. So you follow a character who she sells her soul to the devil, and in exchange she's going to live forever. But the consequence of that is that she's going to be forgotten by everyone she ever meets. I've talked about this before and how like I have no clue how she wrote something like that. Like it just stresses me out thinking of how complicated that would be, and like I don't know, but like kudos to her, because wow. But super eager to see like how that's going to play out. I don't know, there's so many questions surrounding the story, and I just want to know why everyone loves it so much, honestly. And I hope I will like it too, because I feel like a lot of times when books are like this hyped up like this, I end up not liking them, and it just makes me really sad. So hopefully this one won't be that case. Next, I wanted to talk about the couple of Black History Month reads that I have on here. So first is One of the Good Ones by Micah Moulite and Maritza Moulite. So these are the authors of Dear Haiti, Love Elaine, which I read last year, and this is their second book. But in this one, you are following these sisters after the death of their sister, who is like very involved in activism, and they are having a lot of questions surrounding her death, and they end up going on this road trip following the Green Book. It was this historical guide for Black people and where they could safely go, and it was a document that existed in the US, and they embark on a journey to honor their sister who has died by using an heirloom copy of that book as their guide. I think that concept sounds really interesting, and like it's going to bring up a lot of important conversations, kind of blending the historical with the present day situation, and how a lot of these things aren't historical, like they are still happening today. So I did really enjoy their writing style in Dear Haiti, Love Elaine, so definitely eager to read their next book. Also, they are sisters as well writing this, so the idea of a book about sisters written by sisters, really love that. And then the other book that I have here is The Black Kids by Christina Hammonds Reed. So I think I actually included this on my January TBR, but then I was like, maybe I should save it a little bit, so I ended up waiting to read it. But this is set in 1991 in LA at the height of the Rodney King riots, and your main character is a Black girl who goes from being just one of the girls to being one of the Black kids. So she's experiencing a lot lot of racism and prejudice and othering in situations that she hadn't really experienced that before. So definitely a very timely novel and one that I have been really eager to read. I've never really read historical fiction in that time period, so it is something that I want to learn more about. Next is another fantastical read that I have seen around quite a bit. I hadn't really heard of it, and now I feel like I have seen it around just like floating, and I don't know, maybe it's one of those things where like you see it but you don't really register it, but now that I know what it is, I just see it everywhere. But anyways, that book is These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. This is a Romeo and Juliet retelling, so I am kind of expecting there to be some romance in here. Like, I might be wrong with that, but either way, I do want to read it. It's just like, you know, the Valentine's Day theme, if it will fit that iconic love story. It kind of made sense to me. Actually, that reminds me, I think I'm going to be getting an arc of The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren, so if I get that, for sure going to be reading that this month. But anyways, back to this. So this is about rival gangs in 1920s Shanghai. It just like, it hooked me right from that time period I've never read before, not a Western setting, which is awesome. And I just like rival gangs, Romeo and Juliet retelling. It sounds like it's going to be absolutely beautiful. And like, I'm hoping that it lives up to the hype that I've been seeing, because I definitely have some pretty high expectations for it now. I just think it sounds so great. Another historical fiction that I have on here actually is The Passion of Dolssa by Julie Berry. So I read The Lovely War by Julie Berry last year. It was my favorite book of 2020, but this is the other book that she has. And this one I feel like was kind of talked about more. I mean, Lovely War is her most recent release, or her most recent YA release rather, but this one I don't know, I'm very nervous going into this. I've only read one of her books before and I loved it so much that I just feel like there's no way that this one can live up to that. But it once again is a book that is set in a time period that I haven't read a lot about. So it's set in like, I think it's 1200 something. It's like 1400 or 1200. 13th century, Inquisition, France, Provence. There's like little things that like categorize where the book fits. So that is what I'm getting from this. 1226 to 1270. So yes, the 1200s. Never read anything in that time period. So really interested in that, and also just like more of Julie Berry. But I just like, I'm like, can this live up to it? I don't know. It has a lot to live up to. I said that funny, but like, it's fine. We're just gonna roll with it. But yeah, for sure do want to read this one soon. Maybe in February, I don't know. I've been liking historical fiction a lot, so I am like gravitating toward that a lot too. Next is The Meet Cute Project by Rhiannon Richardson. So this deals with the main character who, I'm not sure if I will end up reading this one because it is kind of similar to what I'm writing. By the way, if you haven't seen it yet, I'm doing a Write a Book With Me series where as I'm writing my next draft, I'm going to be telling you everything about my book. So I'll link that down below for you guys. But I have a main character that kind of has a similar trait to this main character, so I'm not sure if I want to read this just because of that, but we'll see. But this has a character who doesn't like romance, and her friends end up setting her up on these meet cutes to try and find a date to her sister's wedding. So it does sound really cute. Like, it's not the same as what I'm writing, so, but like, I do see the similarities there. Like I said, it's not the most original idea that I had in the entire world in that video, but I did want to mention that like, I am aware that they do have similarities there. But it does sound so cute, so like, even if after I'm finished writing my draft, I will get to this one, but it sounds perfect for February, so like, I do kind of want to get to it, but I will probably wait until like, I'm in the thick of my own writing. Next is Rent a Boyfriend by Gloria Chao. So this sounds like such a cute read because it's all about this girl who is in college and she ends up renting a boyfriend to try and show her parents that she's thriving, that she's doing okay, and that she has a boyfriend. So I just think that sounds like the cutest like concept and like such an opportunity for hilarity. So really eager to see how that is going to go, because I can see a bunch of ways that it's going to go, and like not all of them are great, but I know it's going to be adorable. So definitely one that I am eager to get to and I think would be perfect for around Valentine's Day. And the final book that I have here is Chasing Lucky by Jenn Bennett. So this is Jenn Bennett's most recent novel. I did actually just see though that she has another one that's coming out this year. I think it was called Always Jane. I can't exactly remember, but definitely excited for that. So I read a lot of Jenn Bennett last year. I read 3 of her books. So the only other books that I have of hers to read are this one, or at least her YA books, because she has some adult romances too, but those don't really interest me because they're more like the paranormal thing. But anyways, I have The Lady Rogue, and and then I have this one. So this deals with a girl who they have been like nomads for their entire lives. They kind of live wherever, just a kind of lackadaisical lifestyle, but then they end up coming back to their New England hometown to run their family's bookshop. But the main character thinks it's just going to be a pit stop, like she's going to make it as a photographer, and it ends up not being so much of a pit stop, and she ends up running into the town bad boy. So obviously we have a romance in there. Jenn Bennett just writes really cute contemporary romances, characters with like interesting hobbies, and they all are very different, which is what I love about them. Like, all of them stick out to me as very distinct. There's none of them that I get mixed up, even though they are all romances. They're all just a little bit different. So I really like that. But yeah, I'm super excited to read this one. So those are all the books that are on my February TBR formally. I never really follow TBRs. These are just the books that I think I might be picking up in the next little bit. Like, there's some that I think I will for sure be getting to, and others that are just kind of a few maybes sprinkled in here. But mostly there wasn't really a lot of fantasies on here because I kind of am just going with the flow when it comes to that and just picking up like whatever. So like I have Wings of Ebony that I think I might get to. Also, what was the other one I was maybe gonna pick up the other day? Oh, I can picture it, but I can't. A Song of Wraith and Ruin. I was also thinking about picking up that. Sky Without Stars. Like, there have been quite a few big chunky fantasies that have been standing out to me lately. I don't really know why, but like, I'm just gonna roll with it. But thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please let me know what you are planning on reading in February, or if you have read any of these books, your thoughts on them, then it will help me to figure out which ones I should prioritize. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one very soon. Bye!